Hey guys, thanks for joining us here at Salty Ginger Talk. If you're a returning listener, it's great to have you back. If you're new to the channel, really glad you joined us. Hope you like what you hear. So, our podcast is for people that want to take a deliberate approach to building their life. They want to build a better life. They want to take personal accountability for their decisions, for their actions, and live a life of purpose. And we've got room for self leaders. We got room for thinkers. We got room for people that do stuff. That's what Salty Ginger Talk is all about, taking control and taking action. So, today we're going to talk about a situation that you're going to find yourself in a lot where it's very important for you to take control. And that is when you encounter someone who is very verbally aggressive. So, it could be a blow up from a coworker, it could be an insult from a stranger, it could be a heated argument with somebody really close to you. How you respond in those situations makes all the difference in the world, whether it escalates or whether it de escalates. And we want to take a leadership role and de escalate those situations so we wind up with better outcomes. And today we're going to cover 5 tips backed by research that will help you stay calm, stay in control, and walk away with your dignity and the other person's dignity intact. That's the goal. De escalate, bring it to a resolution, and move on. That's what we're looking for. We're also going to give you common mistakes that people make in these moments, and we're going to give you examples of what would work better, why it would work better, and how you can build emotional resilience to stay in control of your emotions in these situations and to handle aggression like a master. Okay? So let's just jump into it right now. Tip number 1, this one is so important. Just pause. Pause before you react. I would estimate between 5 and 10 seconds. Don't say anything. So, according to neuroscience research from the University of California, the amygdala, which is our emotional center in our brain, hijacks our brain during conflict. It takes over. It's fight or flight, it's protective, it's reactive. But it only takes about 6 seconds of deep breathing or silence to allow your prefrontal cortex, which is the rational part of your brain, to regain control of your thought process. So that pause isn't for the other person. That pause is for you. It helps you regain control of your brain and respond in a productive, unemotional, rational way. And that's what we're looking for in these situations. So let's use an example. We're in a meeting and a colleague, we share something, and one of our colleagues says, "That's a ridiculous idea. You didn't think that through." A lot of people, what they'll do is respond instantly with something like, "Well, maybe if you had actually listened for once, now it's a fight, right?" That quick reaction is going to escalate things. It's a battle of egos. It's people trying to save face in front of other colleagues. It's not a conversation, it's a fight, and you've played into it. And that's not what you want to do. Instead, if somebody says that to you, say nothing, pause. Even if you need to hold it for a second so somebody else doesn't jump in, you can say, "Let me just think about that for a second." Just like that, very calm, very rational. Don't react. Don't raise your voice. Don't change the inflection of your voice. Don't react. It's the worst thing you can do. That silence creates space for you and for them. A lot of times it's good to let it hang out there so people can take in just how inappropriate what this person just did was. Give it some air to breathe. Let it hang out there. It's going to make it really awkward for the person who made the comment, and it's going to help you regain control of your thought process so you can respond in a rational, calm, intelligent way. You stay in control, and many times they, during that silence, are going to say, "I shouldn't have said it that way," or I should have handled that different. "I'm sorry, I didn't mean that." They'll back down on their own if you just say nothing. So, how do you do this? It's easy to want to react very quickly. It's easy to want to defend yourself in front of people. One way to do it is remind yourself that they are the ones that look bad. They have created a problem for themselves, not you. But you have to recognize it in that moment and tell yourself that this is their problem now. They're the one that looks like a jerk. They're the one that looks emotionally out of control. They're the one that looks like they're not up to the task. It's not my job to carry the weight of those remarks. They have to own it. You're not responsible for their outburst. What you are responsible for is how you handle it and how you respond to it. So the first thing you do is nothing for 5 to 10 seconds. Take a deep breath. Don't say a word. Okay, tip number 2, use disarming language. So instead of escalating, de escalate immediately. Dr. George Thompson, who created a book and a course called Verbal Judo, found that using empathetic, calming language dramatically reduces aggression in confrontational situations by bypassing emotional triggers and appealing to the logical brain. So we're going to help the other person get out of their state of agitation, their state of anger, their state of excitement by using disarming, calming language. So, for example, let's say I work a job where I'm in customer service. I work retail and I'm encountering a customer who's very upset. And the customer yells at me, "This is the worst service I've ever had. You people are useless." What a lot of people want to do is respond with something like, "I'm doing my job. Don't talk to me like that." You can do that. Usually doesn't work. It usually escalates, doesn't de-escalate. What you've actually done is engaged in their argument and joined a fight that you don't want to join. What you could do instead, after you take your breath, after you take your 5 to 10 second pause, is say something like, "I hear you're frustrated. Let's figure out how to fix it. What can we do to make it right?" Right? That's de-escalating language. That's problem-solving language. You're not joining the fight. You're refusing to engage in their emotional outburst. You're bringing the conversation back to a rational, logical, reasonable place so you can problem solve. It shifts the tone. You've acknowledged that they're upset. You've acknowledged that you've heard them, which is what most people are looking for. They want to know that you're taking them seriously. And it brings the conversation from problems to solutions. And we're always trying to guide it back towards solutions when someone's verbally aggressive towards us. Okay? And the way you can do that is ask yourself while you're having this conversation, what does this person actually need? What is it they want? Many times they just want you to acknowledge that things aren't great. Many times they just want you to acknowledge that you or somebody else is screwed up or that they're in a shitty situation. And they want a path forward. They want some type of resolution to it. They're actually not looking for a fight, even though they're acting like they're looking for a fight. So if you don't engage in the fight and you steer the conversation immediately towards solutions and collaboration, there's a good chance they'll follow you. So just don't engage in it. Use disarming language. When they get excited, shift the focus back towards solutions using some of the phrases we just talked about there. Okay. Tip number 3, do not mirror, mirror their energy. The last thing you want to do is get as excited as they are, or anywhere near as excited as they are. Research from Stanford shows that emotional contagion is real. If someone is angry and yelling, you're more likely to get angry and yell back unless you consciously interrupt the pattern. And that's what you should do. Let's use an example in a marriage. Your spouse says, "You never listen to me." And a common way to respond to that is, "Well, you're always yelling at me. Why would I listen to you when you're like this?" Right now, again, we've created a fight where it doesn't need to exist. I get it. It sucks when someone loses their temper and takes it out on you. I'm not disputing that in any way, shape, or form. However, you don't have to engage in it. You can stop it right there. And you can do that by keeping your emotions calm and not mirroring the energy that you see. Lower your voice. Stay calm. Don't change the inflection of your voice. Try saying something like, "Hey, I can tell you're upset. I want to understand what's bothering you. Can we just slow down and talk through it?" Just like that, real calm. Not accusatory, not raising my voice, not engaging in the heightened emotional state that we're experiencing from the other person. We're helping them come down. Now, they might still be fired up, but you're anchoring the conversation instead of fueling the fire. So you've got a better chance of moving it back to a calm, rational, reasonable tone than you do if you engage in the fight. Because once the fight starts, it's hard to stop and it's hard to bring to an end. Everybody's been there. One way to think about it, and don't say this out loud for God's sakes, but you can think about it if it helps you, is, hey, one of us has to be the adult here. One of us has to be the bigger person. One of us has to be the person that calms this down, and I'm choosing to be that person. All right? So that's a good way to do it. Don't mirror their energy. That is the exact opposite thing that you want to do. Bring your energy down. When someone goes up, you should go down. In terms of energy, in terms of excitement, in terms of agitation, you need to lower your level of all of those things to counterbalance their heightened level of all of those things. Okay? Tip number 4. Now, this doesn't mean you need to be a doormat. Tip number 4 talks about that. So we want to set clear boundaries. A study from the University of Georgia found that people who clearly express interpersonal boundaries experience less emotional stress and fewer repeat incidents of abuse or verbal aggression. So if people know you're not going to participate in conversations where you're demeaned, you're belittled, you're name called, you're treated sarcastically, they'll stop doing it because they know you're not going to engage in it. So, a scenario, let's just say we're at a family gathering and we've got a relative who keeps making sarcastic and demeaning comments in front of everybody at you. Sometimes you can laugh it off and keep the peace and turn the other cheek, and I guess you can do that. Another way to handle it is to calmly say, hey, I'm not okay with comments like that. I don't like it when you talk to me like that. I don't find it funny. If you're going to keep doing it, I'm just going to leave the conversation. Very calmly, very rationally. And then if you need to, walk away. Just walk away. End it right there. Don't engage in it. Don't give them the opportunity. Now, we're not setting ultimatums for anyone. We're not saying do this or else. What we're saying is, I don't appreciate being treated this way. I don't know if you recognize it or not, but either way, I'm not willing to participate in conversations where I get treated like this and they make me feel bad, so I'm not going to. It's self-respect, and people will respect you if you show that you respect yourself. You're not being dramatic, you're not being a baby, you're not being a whiner. You're saying, I deserve a certain standard of treatment, and I'm not going to tolerate not being treated at least at that standard, and just ending the conversation if they don't want to comply. It's very straightforward. But when you set those boundaries, you'll find that people don't do those things to you because they know you're willing to call them out on it, and they know that you're willing to walk away, and they don't actually want you to walk away. So that's a way to set boundaries so that you experience these situations less. It can be a preemptive way, but it usually happens when someone shows that behavior and you react calmly to that behavior by setting boundaries. Okay? And tip number 5, don't take it personal. That's the last and worst thing you can do, is take it personal. That's exactly what sends things in the wrong direction. According to Dr. Kristen Neff's research on self-compassion, people who depersonalize negative behavior are more emotionally resilient, they're less anxious, and they recover faster from social conflict. So, let's take road rage as an example. A stranger on the road cuts you off, then they yell at you, then they flip you off, and you get all pissed. Your knee-jerk reaction is, what's your problem, man? What the fuck are you doing? Right? We've all done it. I do it. I still do it. I'm not perfect at it. I live in a glass house, so I don't throw stones. What you don't want to do is stew on it for hours and let it affect the rest of your day. So, if you do that, you're carrying that person's emotional baggage around way longer than is necessary. In the heat of the moment, totally got it. It shouldn't take more than 10 seconds to get over something like that. You simply have to compartmentalize it and say, hey, that guy must be having a bad day. Maybe he's in a hurry. Maybe he just got in a fight with his wife. Maybe he's rushing to get to a hospital where one of his loved ones is getting medical treatment. Or maybe he's just a jerk. I don't know. I don't know what the situation is. My point is, it's none of your business, and you're okay. You didn't get in an accident. You didn't get hurt. You got inconvenienced. You were treated shitty for a second by someone you'll never see again. Let it go. You've got to tell yourself that behavior reflects on them, not me. I'm not going to match that behavior. I'm not going to respond to that behavior. I'm not going to carry that behavior around with me the rest of the day. Like I said, maybe there's a bunch of reasons why they're driving or did what they did that you don't know about. And that's fine. You don't need to know about it. Just let it go. It's that simple. Say, I choose to put it behind me. I choose to ignore it going forward. And I can choose to be in a good mood. A lot of times we choose to be in a bad mood. Why don't we just choose to be in a good mood? We can do that. We can choose the mood that we're in. We absolutely can do that. A lot of times we refuse to choose the good mood, but we're very quick to choose the bad mood. And that's not where we want to be. Not everything in the world is a big deal. Not everything in the world deserves a reaction. Like social media. You can read a social media post you disagree with, not comment on it, and move right by it. Yeah, I don't know if you know that's possible or not, but I do it all the time. There's tons of stuff I see that I don't agree with, and I'm like, whatever. That doesn't sound right to me, but I'm not going to waste my time and energy on stuff that doesn't matter. I want to spend my time and energy on stuff that does matter. And someone cut me off in traffic, it is what it is. It's an unfortunate incident, move on. All right? So, the reality is verbal aggression is everywhere. You don't have to get sucked into it. You don't have to participate in it. You don't have to feed it. By pausing, using disarming language, not mirroring the energy that you see coming at you, setting boundaries for yourself, for other people, and refusing to personalize it, you can reclaim your power and your reaction to those situations. You are not required to get in an argument with someone that's trying to get in an argument with you. Many times the best thing to do is let it go. Stay calm, use disarming language, move on, right? That's what we want to do. So, hope you found it helpful. Very good way to handle things. Something we work on a regular basis. And look, I have a terrible temper, so it's easy for me to lose it in those situations. I've done that many times in my life. I'm a lot better at it now than I used to be, but it's a choice. You can choose how you react to these situations. So stop choosing to be mentally weak and participate in these dust-ups and choose to be mentally strong, choose to be a leader, bring those conversations back to solutions, resolve them, and move forward. Okay? That's the tip. All right. So James puts it up over every day. Don't forget to head over to our website, saltygingertalk.com. All of our podcast episodes are available there. Links to our social media accounts are available there. We've got a newsletter we publish every weekday that you can subscribe to on our website. And please like, share, comment, and subscribe to our podcast on whatever platform you consume it on. Super helpful. So we have all sorts of great guests that come on to our podcast and share awesome tips that they've developed throughout their life to build lives of meaning, to build lives of purpose, to take accountability for their own personal situation. You don't want to miss all those tips. Make sure you check out our next episode. You don't want to miss it. I will see you there.